The Deep South, the antebellum, is seeing a lot of, say, social change, and cancel culture is making its rounds down there.
What is antebellum?
Antebellum, like the
style of a house?
Actually, I don't know what antebellum.
Can we
You're from the South.
I just know that it refers to the American South. Antebellum. Antebellum.
Because I heard about Lady Antebellum.
Occurring or existing before a particular war, especially the American Civil War.
Oh. So it's like a time period?
So before it's the Civil War, yeah. So that's basically slavery era in America.
Like pre-1860.
Yeah.
Wait, then why would they want to name their band Lady Antebellum? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
I don't think that we were woke enough then when they named their band that way. But yeah, so a lot of our country now, especially the South, is seeing a lot of changes in terms of how we view our history and things like that, and many of which has affected different industries. And one such industry is the wedding industry. And
not just Corona, huh?
Yes, and what I'm talking about are plantations within the South. A lot of people go to the plantations to get married, have events, and very big parties and stuff like that. And Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively recently released a statement saying that they basically apologized for having their wedding in South Carolina at a 330-year-old plantation.
Oh.
And so they apologized for having a wedding at the Boone Hall Plantation and Gardens in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Was it like a cotton plantation and it's got a lot of bad history there?
Weren't plantations usually slave related?
I don't know, because I have we're in the West Coast, and then when I think of plantation, I think of pineapple plantation in Hawaii, which doesn't have the same.
Doesn't have the same.
There was exploitation, but there wasn't slavery. But a lot of Hawaiian culture is built from the plantation life. Like that's where a lot of Japanese, Chinese, a lot of Filipinos mixed, and then the local Hawaiian culture is built from the plantation lifestyle. Yeah. And so I don't know, because I'm not from the South, I don't think when I hear the word plantation, it doesn't feel negative.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because growing up in Texas, when I hear the word plantation, I automatically think slavery. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah, so it's really hard to kind of shake that imagery away from these types of establishments. And as beautiful as they are, they have a very violent and oppressive history. And so
is it like if you visit a plantation, it feels heavy, when you visit a concentration?
You went to one?
We visited one in New Orleans.
Yeah, Oak Alley.
Yeah, and
it feels heavy when you go there.
Yeah, because they keep everything there. So it's aside from hosting weddings and parties and events, they also have history tours.
They actually have the homes that they lived in, slaves lived in.
Yeah, so they have these little huts outside of the main building, and
so it's like having a wedding at the Holocaust Museum.
Yes, exactly, and
it's weird.
Yeah, and that's what they're basically saying. It's you're holding your own wedding at a place where people were oppressed and killed and tortured. Doesn't seem right, Yeah.
And it's also different that it's still for the one that you were saying, they still they have tours, so they have all of the old stuff. So it's right in front of your face.
Because I was picturing a vineyard. You know how out here in NorCal they have wineries and people get married there? Yeah. So that it's a beautiful romantic place, right? But then I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what a cotton plantation looks like, but it doesn't sound like a nice wedding location. Maybe it's beautiful,
really
right?
country rustic, Pinterest world.
Oh yeah,
that's what it is.
I see.
The building where the whites lived, that building is going to be beautiful and very artistry, the ornament, the architecture. Yeah, the craftsmanship of the homes, it's beautiful. And so I think a lot of people pick these places to get wedded there.
I found a partner of mushroom farm. So then I recently visited the mushroom farm, right? And I'm like, why the fuck would anybody want to get married here?
Wait, people actually get married at the mushroom?
No, but I'm saying an operation, a farm, it's pretty dirty. Why the fuck would anyone want to get married?
It smells like manure and shit.
Because it matches the aesthetic. That's why.
I see.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, who's profiting from these plantations being used for like these tours and for educational purposes.
Well, sometimes
for
it's like
weddings.
historic reason, like historic preservation. So like when we went, it's like, I don't know for a fact,
the
I
family?
forgot, but no, like it ends up being part of history of that area. So then the historical society or whatever it is, like they end up being the ones that are running the tours or whatever it is.
Who's making money from the weddings though? Because that in itself could present the issue,
Yeah,
right?
where does it go?
Yeah, like it could be like the city or it could be privately owned.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just refer to it as a preserved estate. So maybe it's owned by a certain family. I don't know.
The same family.
The same family, yeah, it's just been passed down through the
So
years.
now what you're saying is that's the new, I guess, big shift where it was pretty commonplace for people to get married in the South at a plantation home, and then now that's like no longer a thing.
Now it's kind of frowned upon. And even like a lot of the wedding magazines have also kind of expressed their like boycott of this tradition now. And so like they're no longer including these plantations in their magazines. Pinterest is also cutting ties with a lot of plantations. They're no longer exhibiting them in their pictures. So yeah, there's a big shift in that industry down there.
It's kind of got a tainted history, doesn't it? Like, why would? Well, I don't know. I guess they're accepting it, but I don't know if I'm imagining like these places to being like a museum, and then you see like all of the things that they used back then. Like, are they hiding all of the stuff that they used for slavery and all that too? Or because I don't know, I never been to one. But when I'm thinking of how they preserve, like anywhere you go to, right? Like if you go to like a gold rush cabin, you'll see like, yeah, they did it like this. Or like, even if you go to fucking medieval times, right? You'll see like the torture things and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's all like, damn, that shit's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing torture devices.
I do remember
around
seeing
there.
like chains.
Oh man.
Yeah, you see like the little huts that they lived in, and then they'll lay out clothes that they wore, and it's like fucked up clothing. It's just like it's coarse, it doesn't.
It's like a potato sack and shit.
Literally
Wow.
potato sack that has legs, and like resewn to have legs, and
Yeah,
That's
when we went-
mind blowing. They have weddings at this kind of.
Yeah.
That's
Venue?
wild.
When we went, because we had Isaac with like our son, and we were just like trying to like educate him. Like, do you see? This is part of our history. Like, actually, this happened. And because we were reading, because they actually give a lot of information, so you can educate yourself about what went on in that plantation. Obviously, they're gonna make it more like fluffy because they want to make themselves look good, but yeah, it is pretty heavy.
for sure, yeah. And so then this Boone.
What were they growing there? Tobacco? Cotton?
I really don't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah, this Boone Hall Plantation has released a statement too, and they basically said that they treasure all couples that have ever wedded there and their relationships, and that if anyone feels, have any concerns about, having the wedding there, they're open to open a line of dialogue and talk to these couples and kind of, just, I guess, nurture like everyone's emotions and kind of figure out how to move forward. But there isn't like a whole lot of like, I guess, direction in terms of what they're gonna do to, I guess, change the way they conduct their business.
Well, they can't really do it. I mean, it's history. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, how do you
Maybe.
rebrand it? Because they were all work camps. They're not like I feel like industry has some kind of tainted, like there was child labor, like in the Industrial Revolution, there was like, now, I mean, even now they exploit migrant workers in farms and stuff, right? But slavery is just a whole different story. It was really fucked up, and there was torture and all that stuff. And those work camps are like prisoner work camps. Mm-hmm. And that's such a heavy ass tainted thing. Like, how do you even clean that up?
I think the way to clean it up is you knock it all down. I mean, if you wanna use it for a place of happiness and fucking long-lasting memories of you fucking tying the knot, if that's how you wanna use it, then wipe it all out. But if you're using it as a museum, then you just leave it alone. Just don't have a fucking festive party there. That's weird.
True. Yeah, I'm actually kind of happy that at least it hasn't gotten to the point where they're thinking about demolishing these types of things. Because, the statues are being torn down and all that, but like, there's a part of it that's also kind of like the history is there for us to remember and kind of like, it's kind of reflecting on our history.
It's just weird to mix those feelings.
That is weird.
Like, let's say we go to a Pearl Harbor memorial and we have a wedding there. It's weird.
It's just it's so somber. Like you
Yeah.
just feel the energy in the air, you know?
But I think that
That is weird.
it makes sense. Why? Because on a plantation, there's a lot of different memories. Like it was
The privileged memories.
there was the memories of the white people were different from the
yeah.
memories of the black people there. So like
That's true.
that's probably what it is, you know?
But we've also come a long way from that time where now the memories of the black people are something that everyone should be thinking about.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, if you're gonna be, okay, so yeah, there are different memories being made, right? And just like in a concentration camp, obviously the victims have different memories than the guards or whatever, but you're still respecting what happened there, and you're not gonna be celebrating weddings there because of what had happened there. So yeah, I don't think having weddings at a plantation just does not seem like it's a good idea. It's just really weird.
That's true.
It's so fucking weird.
I feel like that's really the only thing that's wrong with this picture here is that they're allowing for weddings to occur at this area.
Yeah.
I think it's great that they're still doing like historical type educational
Yeah,
tours.
I think that's important.
That's really important,
We can't
I
let
think.
go of that. Because if we forget it, it only opens a space of like future hatred and things like that. We need to remember this as
Yeah,
a thing
there's
to
a-
not repeat.
That's why movies are so effective in making us feel certain ways about like mass genocide. It's one thing to read about it in a textbook and be like, oh, all these people died. It sucks. You know, but then when you see it for yourself, like maybe not for yourself, but when you see it like on a screen and it's very vivid and it's very graphic and you see these people suffering, that makes you feel a completely different way.
Except if they suck at acting and it's like a bad action movie and people are dying like, and then you just laugh at it, right? But if it's really good, then you're just like, oh, I felt that, dude. That was good acting right there. And then you believe it.
But yeah, so Ryan Reynolds has released an Instagram post stating, you know,
Sorry I had a wedding there.
yeah, his like it was a mistake and he was blind to, you know, like the history, and you know, it's a very heartfelt message. So
I don't think Asians have gone through anything that bad in America, of course, so our equivalent is way less, but to me it's like, where did I get tortured? At like a tutoring center. So it'd be like me getting married at a tutoring center. It's like, why would any Asians want to go back to get married at a tutoring center?
And it was Asian on Asian crime.
Yeah, where I got my ass beat and did extra homework.
Let's get married at Chinese school.
Exactly, yeah. Who wants to get married at Chinese school, guys?
Nerds.